everyone, James Nine Numbers here, and welcome back to another episode of the Political Freedom Fighters Podcast. Now, in this episode, I have for all of you today, I have a Libertarian who is running for U.S. House District 5. So, with that being said, I want to introduce to all of you Robert Luffman. How are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I am doing great, man. So, the first thing I got to go over is, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Robert Luffman. I've been a professional truck driver since 1999. My wife and I currently drive together, various contracts of different things. Right now, I'm actually broadcasting to you from the road tractor. We have Starlink on the truck and Starlink in the house, so the internet connection out here is perfectly stable. I've been have a current lease we've got right now for 14 years. I have over 1 million miles safe under my belt with the lease we have now. And I was always an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina until a few years back when I joined the Libertarian Party because they had an actual way to be on a ballot, so to speak. And I have taken my time and studied the Libertarian Party. And finally, I think right now is the prime time to run for Congress in North Carolina as a Libertarian, seeing as how a lot of people, especially where I live out, local to Wilkes County, were overtaxed and overburdened. And it's, you got to stand up for something. And right now is my time to stand up. So here I am.
That is awesome, man. So, next up, let's talk about your history.
History of me, I was born in upstate New York, a little town called Plattsburgh. Don't hold that against me. So, yes, I am a Yankee by birth, but my family is from North Carolina, from right where I live at. My mother was a Call. My dad was a Luffman. I'm a Luffman. Our families have been here. The Luffmans have been here over 200 years. The Calls have been here for about 400 years, 300 to 400 years. Scots-Irish immigrants, and well seated in the area. Everybody has heard either one of those two last names. My dad was in the Air Force. We traveled for a living. My sister was born abroad. I was born abroad. And when Dad got out of the service, we came back to North Carolina, came back home, and it's been my home ever since. We lived here for a little bit in the 80s when I was a kid at Air Force Base, and then came back in the late 80s. And settled in for the long haul, and I'm still here today.
Alrighty, that's fair enough. So, why are you running for U.S. House District 5 as a Libertarian?
Well, somebody had to. There's too many issues at bay politically that neither side wants to broach and fix, ultimately. Biggest one I can think of right now is immigration. Immigration law has not been reformed since 1996. The two parties have been at war since then on immigration. Right now, you have the federal law enforcement massing, going to cities and doing what they can, their actions are legally justifiable by the laws on hand. We don't have to like it. We don't have to dislike it. But the laws, the way they are wrote, gives the executive branch the power to control those federal forces to enact immigration law. And I look at everything and breaking it down to the smallest fraction of what can be done to prevent this from happening again. And neither party wants to actually fix things. Because as long as that never gets fixed, they can go to their constituents and saber rattle to get elected, to gain power, to be in control, and the duopoly wins again. As long as they have something to run on, nothing will ever be fixed. I look towards the promise in the future of actually fixing problems and not creating more. And that's why I'm running. Is I want to fix things, immigration being one. I would like to see marijuana legalized. Obama went in and fought. I think it was 12, 13 times to get DACA put in place. I know friends that are protected under DACA They came over when they were children. They are now adults. They're my age. They've been living here their whole lives. They have children that are adults. They own houses. They pay mortgages. They pay taxes. It's going to be 8 or 10 more years before they can vote, before they can own a firearm, before they're given citizenship or allowed to become a citizen and naturalized. So immigration, and the way the Democrats see it, is yes, we want immigrants to come in, and that is our new form of justifiable slavery. Republicans don't want immigrants to come in because they think that they're a burden on the system. Republicans want to spend more money on other things and not spend money on humanitarian reasons. So it all needs to be fixed. It all needs to be sorted. And once you fix these problems, they won't have anything to run on. So I'm running on trying to fix the actual issues and not run on getting reelected endlessly to fill seats and voids and maintain power for a party that ultimately doesn't care about people at all. And that's either party, not just one or the other. My family, not all of them, a couple of them, have called me out for being a communist, which, okay, so y'all don't understand what the Libertarian Party is. The Republicans are mad because I'm dividing seats and stealing votes. Well, you're not stealing votes when people are fed up with the two-party system. Yeah, I'll take whatever vote I can get. I'm running under budget, staying under the $5,000 threshold for the FEC. I don't want people's money. I don't want people's endorsements. Endorsements from companies like the NRA. I did their survey. The National Gun Owners of America Association. I did their survey. They didn't endorse me either. And I'm like, well, I actually probably own more guns than Virginia Fox does, who's the Republican incumbent. And I'm a huge fan of firearms. And I do enjoy shooting. But I don't want their endorsements, and I will tell you why. They're nothing but lobbyist associations. So if they endorse me, then I'm expected to take their money and use that as campaign funding, that I can push their agenda and not the people's agenda. Where we live at, Democrats are just as armed as Republicans are. So when people say it's a right-left issue, I think, no, it's a government wanting to disarm us so that we can't say anything. Then we'll be powerless. You look at medieval England, when they got mad at people, they would rise up with their pitchforks. Well, we got more than pitchforks. And our founding fathers intended us to have more than pitchforks. And it's not a right or left issue. It's a fundamental American issue. Period. In the conversation. If you're a legal citizen, you should have a right to bear arms. Done. You know, the only gun law I believe in is the one that was ratified in 1791. That's the Second Amendment. Why am I running? Because somebody had to stand up and do it. We've got to have something different, period, in the conversation. Give the people a third option and hope for the best. I don't want campaign signs. I don't want people's money. I'm not taking up donations. Word of mouth, people like you on your podcast, and hopefully many more in the future, will be the way that I talk to people and let them know how I feel. And I hope the message gets out, as I think that we're all just as frustrated as I am.
I 100% agree with you. So, anyways, I guess while we're doing this interview now, let's talk about your opinions on the Republican Party first, since they're the ones in control of this house, in this specific house seat.
Well, I compare the modern day Republican Party to the Jehovah's Witnesses that knock on your door. Like, hello, are we there yet? Everybody's guilty of it, cherry picking Bible quotes. And I think the Republican Party cherry picks a lot of Bible quotes. And they see themselves conservative Christians. Okay, cool. I can believe in that. I was raised Southern Baptist. So naturally, I should be a Republican. Or a conservative Christian. I am a Christian. I'm a non-denominational Christian now. I will do anything that uplifts anybody and helps out the community and the people in it, regardless of faith. I don't care what you believe in, just believe in something. Even if you believe in nothing, you gotta believe in something to believe in nothing. but I want people to be people. So the Republican Party has tried to weaponize my religion to suit their needs to control people, and I don't believe in that. That's not where I stand. All the years I spent in Bible school as a kid led me to believe that the one lesson that comes from all that is that Jesus loved everybody. And you can't hate. You can't look down on others. You can't hate your enemy. You know, like, oh, the blue hairs. Oh, no, that's not me. You have individualism. You have people reaching out and needing for something. And we all did it. You had the hippies in the 60s and 70s. You know, you had the punk rockers with the big spiky hairdos in the 80s. You had the big hair women in the late 80s. You had me wearing Jinko jeans in the 90s. And flat shoes, flat sneakers, you know, big baggy shirts. Everybody had their style. Everybody tried to be an individual. Everybody wanted to fit in somewhere, stand out to fit in somewhere. And that relates to the youth today. I see it. Everybody else sees it. They just don't know how to interpret it. It's something too new that they don't understand. And the Republicans have just said, we got a book. I'm going to beat you to the head with it. And I can't stand with them. If they would not have weaponized religion to use it against people, you know, their own brothers and sisters, then I might have more faith in them. And that's why I can't be a Republican. I mean, I know somebody will probably burn a cross in my yard for that, but that's how I feel. Jesus taught us to love each other. And I can't hate them for that. But they can. Because they cherry pick whatever they need to out of the Bible to suit their needs and their ends and to maintain power. It's a good old boys club. And that's not how religion's supposed to work.
That is very understandable. So what's your opinion on the Republican incumbent, Virginia Foxx?
She's a placeholder. They haven't found anybody else to replace her yet, so they just keep rerunning her. It's like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. She toes the party line. Anything she wants, she gets. But she hasn't done anything. She hasn't introduced any fundamentally good legislation in years. She's been in there over 20. It's about time for her to retire. I mean, if Pelosi can announce that she's retiring, Virginia Foxx can too. I mean, why not? I do believe in term limits while we're on that subject. I see myself in this seat for 5 terms, 10 years total. And then I can move on to a different position in government, like run 2 terms in the Senate. And then, you know, if I'm lucky, two terms as president. So that'll be a whole 30 years of being political, and then I can retire. Then I'll be, God. Yeah, I'll be old enough to be president then because I'll be 76 in 30 years. So maybe I can run for a 3rd term at that age. I don't know. We seem to elect nothing but fossils to be president, it seems.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so she needs to give it up. She's out of touch with the youth. I've talked to so many people 30 and under since I announced my candidacy that they don't really understand why they have nothing. You had a generation of people that wanted to stay in their parents' basement. This younger generation wants to get out of the basement, but they can't find a job. They can't afford a house. They can't get an education. You know, all the systems now are broken because of the things that have occurred in the past. And they are looking at me, and I can't explain it. And because there's nothing that can be done. You can't get a job experience without having the job first. And they're looking for blue collar jobs, but we've got rid of our jobs. Bill Clinton signed NAFTA in the 90s. We lost all the textile mills around here, the furniture factories around here, machine shops, American Drew, Golden Needles, Chatham Health and Furniture Company. Just lot. I mean, it's all gone. I think we still got Renfro Socks or something in Mount Airy, maybe. That's the textile that makes socks. Not sure. I haven't checked on it lately. But everything left, and that was, the government has kept allowing that to happen since the 90s. And now the youth today looks at their future and it's bleak. So Virginia Fox is out of touch with those individuals, and those are the individuals that I'm trying to get in touch with, because they need somebody to stand up for them. Because if we're not, there's not going to be anything left.
Alrighty. Next up, what's your opinion on the Democrats?
Well, like I said earlier, they look at the immigrants as their new slaves. They want them to be tax cattle. A lot of people don't understand that as a House representative, the founding fathers looked at the issue of taxation without representation and created the House of Representatives. And it was argued over back then, just like it's being argued over today. The 3/5 compromise was put in effect because taxation without representation, the slave owners wanted their slaves to be counted. So they said, okay, well, they're 3/5 of a person. And as individuals. So, hang on, I thought that derailed. Those individuals did count towards the House seats of representation, but not as a full human, full body, full person. And that was their compromise for the slaves. Now, today, we do a census every 10 years. And the immigrants the Democrats are allowed to pack into the sanctuary cities and places that will, and they bring in all they can, basically stuffing ballot boxes. Now, they don't get to vote because it's federally illegal to vote for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. It's against the law. So these people are not allowed to vote, but they're, just by their presence and them being counted is how the House seats are divvied up and gerrymandered into their districts. It's by population and by population of state. So the more people they can pack in a state, the more House representatives that they can have, and the more gerrymandering control they have, like in New England and California, Minnesota, I guess now too, to overpopulate states to get more seats in the House of Representatives. Because as a House rep, I represent everybody, citizen, immigrant. Immigrant doesn't, the status doesn't matter to me. If they're in the district, my voice is theirs, or their voice is mine. I speak for them when it comes to their paying taxes. So that's, a lot of people have lost what it means to be a House representative. And they don't understand that that's how the seats are actually divvied up. Is the census counts the population, legal and illegal, citizen and non-citizen. It doesn't matter on the census. House seats are divvied up with the states, and that population derives the number. I know I've lost it now. And people don't get that. And the Democrats have a full understanding of it. And that is why they try to pack people in. They don't want them to vote. Just like the ones that, when did Obama get out? 2016. Well, I think it was January 17th when he left office. He protected all these people under DACA over 10 years ago, or about 10 years ago. They're still not citizens. They're still 8 or 10 years away from being able to vote. So he said, you can stay here, pay taxes. Let us count you for our seats in Congress. I ain't going to give you nothing for it. You can pay me, but I ain't going to give you nothing. You can't vote. They've all given up. They don't care about Republicans or Democrats anymore. If the immigrants could actually vote today, they would not vote Democrat or Republican. And the Democrats don't seem to understand that. they have lost it. They've lost touch with the actual immigrants. You don't see immigrants protesting. You see everybody else. They've lost it. They don't understand it. They can't wrap their minds around the fact that they've lost it. And that's sad, but nobody believes in them anymore. They're fighting for a lost cause because they have lost it.
Yeah, and speaking of Democrats losing it, this seat is looking to be a red seat. So I guess my next question for you is, why can't the Democrats win this seat?
Well, it's been red for a long time. And yeah, the Republicans are kind of mad about that, thinking I'm going to be stealing the votes and giving the Democrat a better chance of winning this seat, but that's not going to happen either. It's country. So you got Watauga County where Boone's at, which is, you got Appalachian State University up there, and the student population, if they're registered to vote in Watauga County, they may be a game changer. Most of them, well, I won't say most of them, but they probably vote at home where their actual house is, not where their college dorm is. So that population is big, but it's also small at the same time. So it's very rural and touristy. So you got Watauga, Ashe, Allegheny, Wilkes, Surrey, Alexander, Stokes, and part of Guilford County. Guilford County includes part of Greensboro. That's probably the biggest city environment in this entire district, is what little bit of Guilford County that this district has. In Guilford County, bless its heart, it's actually part of 3 different districts. So you've got, I think it's 11 and 14 that make up part of Guilford County as well. The way the districts are set, the rest of the counties are pretty well solid, and they're all country. Mount Airy is a fairly big city. Elkin's a pretty big town, population about 4,000. The Wilkesboro's 5,000 or 6,000. It's just very sparse. There's more open country here than there is city in the district. And districts that are set up like that, the more country folk, we go out here, we hunt. You can yell and your neighbors ain't going to hear you. These areas primarily vote Republican. If you look at the maps, lots of land is red. The cities are blue. Well, there's no cities to be blue. The Democrats are very sparsely populated around in the district. There's quite a few of them, but we're just like the rest of North Carolina. We're packed full of unaffiliated voters as well, and that's the ones I'm trying to reach out to, and hopefully I can get them to understand and know who I am.
That is great to hear. So I guess we're gonna go over your platform. I'll use your Ballotpedia page to go over your platform. You've already talked about congressional term limits. You've talked about immigration reform. I guess we can go a little bit more into it. Immigration reform, big topic in today's political landscape. This issue has not been updated by Congress since 1996.
Yep. And I've talked a lot. I don't know what else you want to know about that. I talked to a friend of mine today who's been here 26 years of his life. He's got another 8 to 10 before he's actually going to be able to be a citizen. He came over as a child. His kids are adults now. And it's money. They do their thing. He keeps his paperwork in his truck in case he runs across ice. It's like, who should just carry my real ID? He has a real ID. North Carolina issued real ID with a star on it. So he is who he is, but he carries everything with him now just in case he runs across somebody, the federal authorities. And yeah, I have to go give him, it used to be $450 every couple of years. Now it's $600 every couple of years to renew everything. It's just the money racket. Like I said, they're tax cattle. And that's all that the government cares about. They have no intentions of letting these people be citizens and naturalized. They want them here to help stuff seats. Want them here to pay taxes. They don't want them to be citizens. So in immigration reform, how do you fix that? Okay, you don't fix it with the Trump $1 million gold card. That's about the dumbest thing ever. You cannot sell citizenship to people. You need to allow people to be here. They want to come to this country, but as you think about the heyday of the United States, we're still living large. We are a great nation. We're full of good people. And others want that. They're jealous. I can't blame them. We got the lap of luxury here. I say lap of luxury, my double wide trailer sitting next to me. Because that's where we live. That's a double wide trailer. But we have everything that the rest of the world wants. We have the freedoms. We have the individuality. Our language is even unique because it's a mix of everybody else's languages. We've picked up words like my dialect because of being here in the Appalachian Mountains and the foothills is, the dialect of coming over the Irish and Scottish Appalachia immigrants from England. We say things like in the holler, over yonder, y'all. And if you apply an Irish or a Scottish accent to that, it makes perfect sense because those words sound like what they do when they're talking. And we still use them today. And this is hundreds of years later. The immigrants come over, they want the life that we have. The majority of them do not want to do harm to us. They're not coming over here with violent intentions. They're not the rapists or murderers that Republicans say that they are. The majority of them are legitimate people wanting more out of life, wanting to express their humanity the way that we do. And they're like, yeah, come on in. You can be sub-citizen, like the felon that never got his voting rights back, But while you're here, pay taxes. While you're here, we're going to count you so we can have more seats. They don't want them to actually think for themselves and be citizens. So the immigration reform, you have to figure out a way to bring the people in that need to be here, that want to be here, that can help society out, make it affordable for them, and find them a place to be. Right now, there's nothing set up for that. So you got to make it affordable, feasible, and fundamental to maintain our society that we have today and integrate them into our society legally. So what can be done? I don't know, but something has to be done. I haven't worked out the math or the language or the bill or any of that at this point because I need to get in first to try to find people that will help because I can't do it by myself. So there's 10 out of 14 seats right now in North Carolina where people are running for, and hopefully enough of us can get in to actually enact the real change because people do need help, and we can't just keep giving the government everything and hoping for the best because we're not going to get it out of the government we got right now. It's a ballot box revolution. Don't have to be.
Agreed. Okay, next up, let's talk about marijuana legalization. Not for myself, but for others. I've seen veterans with PTSD nearly drink themselves into oblivion, who now relax by other means. CBD was a great step in showing how the system actually helps instead of hinders. Rollback and record expungement for those whose lives were forever tainted due to marijuana charges.
Yep. And that's about as plain as it gets. I think that it helps more than it hurts. The benefits far outweigh the consequences. people get their buzz on, it's better than getting drunk, in my opinion. America as a society, and actually as a world, has already leaned away from alcohol. Roll back hemp legislation last fall to help out the bourbon industry in Kentucky. I think it was $850 million that they got, or they gave to Congress to get the hemp rolled back, starting sometime this year. So that's a good place to start, is to roll back on marijuana. I know friends that got charges, back in the 90s during the Clinton era when everything was bad, and then you got Nancy Reagan's war on drugs there. They got popped, constant felon. They did get their voting rights back in North Carolina, but they're not full citizens. They can't own a gun. And these people have built businesses. They have children, married, community leaders today, and they are still considered sub-citizens by the system because of an action that happened that I would like to see rolled back for them, because I think that everybody can change. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people can change. There is mistakes that happen. People need to have an option. And yes, and I argue this with Democrats, they say, well, they can, spend $15,000 to hire a lawyer and apply for expungement. They were born in this country. They were born a citizen. They screwed up once. That screw up shouldn't be a screw up anyway. Why should they pay $10,000 to $15,000 to become a citizen again, a full citizen, not a substandard, oh, I'm a felon for life citizen? They didn't kill anybody. They didn't rape anybody. They were just taught with marijuana when they were a kid. I think that we need to really look at that and go back a few steps and let these people be full-on citizens again. Is there levels to citizenship? I guess there is, because felons can't do things. Now, there is a level of felony, like rapists and murderers and stuff, that they need to not be able to get their gun rights back. But the marijuana needs to go away. The laws against it. It needs to be federally legalized. And I think that since this country is built on taxes, which I don't believe in a lot of taxes, but that's a tax revenue, that's an unseen tax revenue that we haven't tapped into yet. They tax alcohol and cigarettes. Crap, they're going to tax it too. Put the federal sales tax on it, just like they have on everything else that's fun. And fund the government like that and get rid of income tax. Get rid of some of these tariffs. The poor Pam Bondi got hammered yesterday for the whole talking about the Dow, or the stock market, being over 50,000 points or whatever it was. Well, the stock market's not a metric for economic success. The stock market is a metric for corporate profit. As you ask the folks around here on the ground how much money they got in their pocket, not as much as we had yesterday. We'll have less tomorrow. It'll keep going down until payday. Legalize marijuana. That's another revenue stream. That can, farming, people tending the farms. Why not? There's no harm in it. I think it would actually keep people from drinking so much too.
Absolutely. And it's funny, I hear a lot of Republicans say that Trump's doing a great job and things are going great. It actually reminds me of when the Democrats said the same thing about Joe Biden. Like when Joe Biden was president, I was like, come on, bro, really? Like, really?
Yeah, they go, oh, come on, man. Give it to Joe Biden. Yeah, life wasn't too good that 4 years either. We do not have the economy that we had in 2017 during Trump's first term, because that was gangbusters. Right now, it's just it's super lackluster. I don't know where they're seeing it, or if we're just supposed to be lemmings doing like we're told, but it ain't there. It is not there.
All right. All right, I'm going to read this next sentence right here. I believe in smaller government and bigger freedoms. Several of these three-letter agencies need to be checked, consolidated, or removed completely.
Yes. ATF, CIA, FBI, DHS, IRS. That's a big one. They mean so much. They had to consolidate them down to 3 letters each, but do we really, 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 really need all that? No. We're not the world police. We're the United States of America. We're not the United States of Earth. It all needs to get rolled back. It all needs to go away. We need to end the Fed and that FED, Federal Reserve. They can't even say Federal Reserve no more because there's nothing there. There's nothing held back. There's no reserve. It's an empty space that prints money. The money doesn't mean nothing anymore. Just like the youth, 30 and unders. They can't afford the house. Well, gas has came down. Okay, cool. Gas is cheap. But when the dollar means nothing, that gas is still expensive. If the dollar meant today what it meant back in the 90s, gas would probably be 79 cents. But because of inflation and the Fed just endlessly printing money and our national debt skyrocketing, that dollar is virtually worthless. So it takes more of those to buy more things. So it's not that this stuff's actually worth more. It's just that it takes more of this to buy it. You look at Germany in the 1930s with hyperinflation. They were printing $1 million and $50 million or 50 million mark bills. Huge denomination bills, same size as ours, because their currency wasn't worth the paper it was printed on. So they had to hyperinflate it, push those numbers up to make it seem like you had more in your pocket and you were paying more for stuff. Because they were stuck in the paying reparations for World War I, or the Great War back then, as it was called. And we have that kind of hyperinflation going on now. The penny's gone, the nickel will be next. A dollar bill don't really get you a lot no more. I mean, I'm not sure how old you are, but do you remember the commercials on TV where 10, 10, 2, 20, a dollar could get you 20 minutes to Mexico on the phone? A dollar ain't going to do that no more. You got to have a $100 Verizon phone plan to call out of the country. Granted, it's unlimited now, but still, it takes $100 to do that. What a dollar used to do back 20 years ago. The money's worthless, and these agencies, and they just keep. The Republicans say they want smaller government, and then turn around and overspend left and right, and both parties do it. And the statists and the cult members of both parties they're not willing to admit it. But you look at when they spend the money and they have the control, it's okay to spend it their way. Then it flips, and then it's okay to spend the money back that way. And then so Department of Homeland Security, ICE, the Democrats are going to fund it. You know why? They're looking forward to getting back in power so that they can use it. They're not going to get rid of it. They're going to keep funding it. They're going to argue about it, pitch a fit, shut down the government for 45 days, and then they're going to sign off on it. Because they're like, when we get our hands on that, just think of what we can do with them federal authorities. We're going to use it for our business next time. We're going to get back in this game. We're going to win. Now, we got to get away from that. The pendulum is swinging left and right, and it keeps getting further and further and further away until it's going to flip all the way over. We're going to have nothing left. So, smaller government, yes. End a lot of these useless agencies, yes. They can consolidate. We don't need an agency for every single thing that goes on in this country. They probably got somebody looking at me right now with a 3-letter agency, like, what's this guy talking about? We don't like that. We need to keep it. And then they got 3 different agencies looking at me, so that's 9 letters. The math ain't mathing. We don't need all of that. We need to be left alone. Less spending, smaller government, less agencies. Less is more. But once that money's spent and they can keep re-spending it, they're just going to keep spending it. So it's got to stop somewhere.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, I'm going to be reading this. I am a firm believer that the two-party system in this country has been geared to keep us all down. It is my duty as an American citizen to stand up in an effort to keep them in check and attempt to limit their control over us. They have essentially turned politics into college sports. One winner, one loser, forcing a political divide in this nation so deep that we can hardly breathe. I wish to end this now. I will work with anyone on any topic to pass legitimate legislation that helps out all citizens and future citizens. People before party.
Yep. And the people before party statement is something that is why I don't really get recognized in the Libertarian Party as much as other candidates, because if they lose focus on the goal of putting the government's power back in the hands of the people, then I will flat up walk away from them too. And I was an unaffiliated voter in North Carolina for a long time before joining this party, and I believe that they do have the people in mind, but I will flat out walk away from it if I have to. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm sorry. I got interrupted. Go on.
No problem. And yeah, I want to put the party, the people back in charge, the citizens of this country, not the companies that run the country. Going back to stuff I said earlier, I don't believe in the big campaign endorsements. I don't believe in lobbying. I would like for the end of that. I would represent everybody, regardless of your citizenship status. It's the people on the ground, the people you see every day, the people you run into at Walmart, the person you buy your car from, the guy that comes over here to pressure wash your house. That's the people that I want to elect me. I do not want corporate America to elect me. I do not believe in the two-party system, and I haven't for a long time. They have ultimately failed us. No matter which one of them's in charge, it always gets worse. It might look a little bit better, but it's polishing a turd. They're not any count. And I hate it for the people that don't see that. And that's usually your cult party line followers. It kind of upsets me a little bit. So, I feel sad for them, honestly. And I would walk away from the Libertarian Party if they ever took that direction too. So the Democrat Party is one of the oldest, longest running parties in this country. They've had a long time to actually fix stuff and haven't. Republicans ain't been around as long, but they've been around long enough to figure out how the game is played, and they play it well. And I got no faith in them either, because if they could have fixed stuff, they would have. All they care about is staying in power. It doesn't matter which one you vote for the same thing. They're going to play one side, then they're going to play the other.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to read this next sentence here. You've already talked about term limits, so I won't read that. The residents of North Carolina deserve better representation in Washington than what we currently have. I have watched our Attorney General spend precious time suing FEMA in order to get the Helene relief money promised. Grassroots is everything in Western North Carolina. We carried out most of that relief ourselves while waiting, and we are still working and waiting.
Yeah, the United Redneck Army. Good old boys with pickup trucks and trailers. Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians alike. It didn't matter. Hauling whatever we could up the mountains. I was part of 3 loads that went up. I went up with the rescue squad, Wilkes County Rescue Squad. Spent a couple of weeks at the racetrack working at the distribution center, helping load trucks and shuttle pallets and run a forklift and such. And our own representative, Virginia Fox, lives up in them mountains. So it makes you wonder. Last year, Trump's president. She's our incumbent. She's in office. She lives up there. Our Democrat Attorney General has to sue the federal government to get the money that FEMA promised to help rebuild our mountains. So, Virginia Fox, I ask you this: where were you at? Why didn't you get your boy Trump to help us get that money? Why did the Democrats have to sue the federal government to get the help that you said that we were going to get? Well, what happened? I seen photo ops. Mark Robinson, he lost. North Carolina's first black lieutenant governor. Did not make the governor's seat. But he went out to Helene for photo ops. He was there for that. I think Roy Cooper was out there. Josh Stein was out there. I didn't see Pat McCrory doing any photo opping anywhere. But yeah, Virginia Fox, she'll go out there and photo op. She ain't gonna lift a finger to help nobody, obviously, because we had to sue the government. It just, where are they at? We had $160 billion that Biden could send to Ukraine to help fight Russia. Now we have all billions of dollars going to Israel. We can give foreign aid to people in need, send food, send tents, send grain. Don't send them bombs to kill each other with. But if they want to buy some bombs, I'm a capitalist. Let them buy bombs. They got the money. You want to fight a war? Send us the money. We'll send you the bomb. All this money going everywhere, but to help the citizens of North Carolina when we have a big fat natural disaster? No, that ain't right. That's wrong on all accounts. So where was Virginia Fox? Why did they have to sue the federal government? Questions that need to be answered. People should be held accountable for that. She should be held accountable for that. She lives in Blowing Rock, I think, up there. So why? You read it off my Ballotpedia page. Why did that happen? Can you answer that for me? Why?
If I could take a guess, it's probably because the Democrats and the Republicans are not different from each other, and they are only doing this for political gain.
Yeah. So did she and Trump withhold money to bolster the Democrats by actually letting them win, suing the federal government to get that money? Because it looks like that's what happened to me.
Yeah, and I also do blame our state government as well when it comes to the Hurricane Helene relief. Like, remember that bill that the state legislature actually passed $400 million-ish or so, and in that bill there was also a clause in that bill that basically transferred the power of who would appoint the state board of elections from the governor's race, Democrat, to the auditor, who by the time that person was appointed would be a Republican.
Yes. Oh yeah, they undercut the the powers of the governor. Right out from, because North Carolina keeps voting. We vote, the Trump president 3 times in a row with 3 concurrent votes for Democrat governor. And our Senate, our state legislature is mainly Republican. So what do? They're like, yeah, you can have some money, but we're going to cut the head off the snake and kill the Democrats' power of governorship in North Carolina. Yes, I remember that. That was pretty dang dirty, if you ask me.
Yeah, and you know what the Republican State Board of Elections did once they got into power?
Tell me.
The exact same thing the Democrats had did. Like earlier last year, the Democrats were actually like pushing a bill that would make changes in the petitioning process that would make it harder for third parties to get on the ballot. And we as third parties and independents have had to fight months and months. Even when by the time like the first initial deadline to address our grievances was due, the makeup of the board actually did eventually end up switch from Democrat to Republican, and the Republican Party, from the State Board of Elections to the Rules Review Commission, they blew it so hard to the point to where, like, we as third part, as well as some libertarians and some Greens and a socialist and the chairman of the Veterans Party, and I have talked to other parties about this as well. We've all have to basically work together, and right now we are actually currently waiting for a status from the General Assembly to see if they're going to get a bill passed to defeat some of the new rules that would make it harder for third parties to get on the ballot.
Yeah, they locked out. Essentially locked out unaffiliated candidates already. Because I looked into that years ago, originally, before joining the Libertarian Party. Was over 100,000 signatures I'd have to have from inside the district to run as an unaffiliated candidate. And if I'm not mistaken, there is somebody trying to run as an unaffiliated candidate right now in NC5. And I'm not sure if they're going to make it. I don't think they're going to get the unaffiliated signatures.
Oh, you're talking about David Clayton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually tried to get him onto my podcast, but I've had no luck getting him on, and it's not looking good. I don't think he's going to make it on the ballot.
Well, they basically made it impossible to do as an unaffiliated candidate. And I've heard the sides of that one. Well, if you let anybody on a ticket without a party affiliation, then everybody will run. So they're worried about what, 3-page ballots or something? People aren't going to spend the money to run if they're not trying to run. Because it does cost money to even be on the ballot. It's 1% of the income. And you have to write a check to the State Board of Elections for it. So yeah, money was spent for me to be on that ballot, by me to be on that ballot. And that's a pretty substantial commitment right there. But why? Why why limit access to parties only in North Carolina? Well, it's more two-party control, with Republicans and Democrats trying to hold on and seize that power. Like you said, they're trying to limit third-party tickets. They quashed a few parties a while back, didn't they?
Yes,
they knocked a few off.
The Constitution Party, the We the People Party, the Justice for All Party, and No Labels.
What else are you going to hit me with?
Is there anything else that's on your platform that you want to talk about?
Well, a new topic surfaced today. School funding in North Carolina. I answered a few questions to people talking, online platforms and in person. A lot of things are given that's a state issue. I'm running for a federal office. School funding is a responsibility of us all. The county is, Willis County's got some issues, up and down, up one side, down the other. The good old boys club has been running the show for too long, and their pockets are deep and fat. And now we can't fund our schools, and they're looking at closing a few, and it's got the people all in an uproar. Well, where'd that money go? Why are they suddenly closing now? Why did our property taxes all go up 125% last year? And we don't have the money to keep the schools open. So, yeah, school funding is something I would look into as well, even though that's more of a state issue. I know the states get a kickback from the federal government on the school funding, and education is important. That's another thing. When I signed up to run, there's two ways to pay. You can write them a check, or you can bring a cashier's check from a bank to when you declare your candidacy. And I had my checkbook, so I wrote a check. And kids today are not taught cursive or how to fill out checks. So we're only 1 or 2 generations away from the youth not being able to run for political office because they're not taught cursive and they're not taught to fill out checks in school. So pretty soon, I'm on the last end of the political candidates because the youth aren't even going to know how to apply.
Fair enough. So
they're being let down.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that payroll taxes went up 125%. Is that actually true?
What, property taxes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people's property taxes doubled. My property value went up about 140%. Taxes went up. Well, okay, they upped our values, but lowered our brackets. So the tax rate itself is smaller per dollar. Like, instead of being 20 cents on a dollar, it's now 10 cents on a dollar. But our property value was inflated by over 100%. So our taxes went up that much too. And that's just this county. And we're one of the poorest counties in North Carolina.
Oh my God.
We're joined by other poor counties in North Carolina. Like I said, most Republican, just poor mountain folk.
Oh my God, that is terrible. What can we do to combat this?
Well, pitchforks. No. It's a ballot box revolution. Like I said, the Good Old Boys Club is getting spanked, hopefully. Now, all right, so Wilkes, Surrey, and Yadkin counties, I live closer to Elkin, so that's where all 3 counties kind of come together. And I'm more in tune with the politics of these 3 counties. Our sheriff's races are determined in March. November doesn't matter. Our county commissioner seats are done in March. November doesn't matter. Because the school board's nonpartisan, but it's decided in March, and November doesn't matter. Because it's all basically Republican seats. So you might have a Democrat change positions to run as a Republican just to be able to get elected. But all these seats are won in March during the primary because there's no Democrats contesting them in November. So this March primary is a big thing right now in this area because the sheriff's seats are up for grabs and people are mad. The county commissioner seats are up for grabs and people are mad. School board seats are up for grabs and people are mad. And then, like today, when they dropped that bomb about the not being able to have the school funding, well, hey, early voting started yesterday. People voted today. There's been more people voting till March. And the heads will roll according to the way people feel about the current situations in these counties. It's not pitchforks, but ballots. So you have a say so, and your voice will be heard. I do believe in North Carolina's voting system. I think we have one of the strongest in the nation. We have paper ballots with electronic tabulators, and if somebody questions anything or contests it, you can go back to that paper record and match that ballot and barcode to that person that voted. Know that they were a citizen, know that they voted. That's their ballot. They can look at it if they need to, confirm it, and go on down the line. So I believe in North Carolina's voting system. And I think that right now the people are so pissed off that there's going to be a lot of change happening locally, if not statewide and federally, because people are mad. So when the party reached out and spoke to me about running, I think that they had more of an ear to the ground, even though there's not a big Libertarian presence in District 5. I think they had they were more in tune with the manner in which people were upset and longing for something different to vote for. I feel it. I've felt it for a long time now, and I think other people are suddenly feeling the same way. And the overtaxed and overburdened, the undereducated youth, the underfunded schools, and then like now with the immigration and the ICE and the Epstein files and just everything else that's going on in this world, we're at our wits' end and need something different. And so, what was it, 10 out of 14 of us in North Carolina stood up and said, we're something different. You can just hope for the best. People want change. You can offer them a little change and hope they go for
it. Absolutely. Anyways, how's the campaign going?
Well, so far so good. I'm not really ramping anything up until after the 3rd. I want to get the primary behind us. North Carolina informed me and everybody else that they were not issuing Libertarian Party tickets because there was no other Libertarians to run against. So we're just kind of sitting here, biding our time, waiting for the primary to get over with so that we can see who our opponents are. And I kind of already know, but gotta wait for it to be official. And then I will step things up, put out some videos. I'm gonna keep doing podcasts with folks like you, obviously, and just try to get the word out. Is it low budget, under budget? My campaign committee is me, and when you emailed me the other day, you spoke with me. You're speaking with me now. Somebody asked me a question online, they hear from me. There's no PACs. So how's it going? Well, between two businesses and this, I'm kind of got my plate full.
That's the dream.
But I speak with people. I don't let it get to me. The folks that know me and know that I'm running, we still talk and they shake hands and like, how's it going? How's the wife? How's the kids? It doesn't really change things as much as I was wondering if it would, thinking it might, because I'm still the same person today as I was before December, and I think the people that know me know that about me, and they don't treat me any different, and I don't treat them any different. But just I look at publicity as even bad publicity is still publicity. So talking to you, I might not be putting on my best show. I might be putting on a great show. I don't know. That's for your viewers to decide. But it's getting the name out there, getting the message out there, and trying to stay in contact, let my voice be heard, and hope that my voice is heard as standing up for others that need a voice for them. So, I can't say if it's going well or good or bad at this point. I just know that it's going. I'm not really running for election. I'm more or less casually strolling and hope we can get there in the end.
Alrighty. Do you have plans on making a YouTube channel?
No.
Okay. My last question is...
I may...
go ahead.
If I need a platform to host videos, I've got the Facebook page and I got the website built, and I've got Dropbox. If I need a platform so people can access videos for downloading or whatever, then I may create a YouTube channel to host the videos on. Or once I get them formatted, just upload them to it, but not actually build a channel, because everything that's here, in 10 years. So let's say I win, and again, then I'm out. All of it will have to be dismantled. So there's no do I want to be a podcaster or a YouTuber till the end of time? No, I do not. So I don't want to build a channel, but I may use it for like hosting some videos purposes.
Alrighty, that's fair enough. Lastly, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just hope that your viewers think loud of me and enjoy what I have to say, and they can feel free to reach out and go to the website and send me an email and let me know what they think, and ask questions. And if they do send me an email and ask a question, they will be talking to me, not a staffer. There's nobody there, just me. So give me some time. We do work 2 full-time jobs and self-employed all around, and we will I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and most of the time I get back to people fairly quickly.
That's awesome, man. I actually didn't even know you had a website, and I finally found it, so that's pretty awesome. And with that,
just one page right now.
Yeah, so I will definitely be linking that in the description below, and I will be linking all of your social media in the description below for everybody to check out. And with that being said, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, man, I think I'm good. If you got some more questions, I'll be happy to talk to you for a little bit longer.
Okay, well, I guess there's one more question. I guess really, out of the U.S. House races where there isn't a Libertarian, do you think there will be some new? Do you think a third party will be able to take a spot to run against the 2-party system in those races?
No, it's too late to file. The filing deadline's passed. They won't be able to run in this election. Because they'd have to have filed by it was December 17th.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But trust me, I had to do all the figuring out. We came home off the road and I went straight to Raleigh. But I can give hope. You can always have hope. So I can hope that the 10 of us standing up this time, will allow future folks to stand up. Well, allow people to stand up in the future. And also, like I said earlier, give that youth a voice, because they're fairly well beat up right now. I work a lot with the younger generations in one of the jobs, and they some of them see it as being kind of bleak. The old You can look at the old political cartoons from the early 1900s where it was black suits and top hats, and they were just running the country and stealing from pockets, and like the Great Depression era propaganda. In my mind, I see them as looking at the government like that through those glasses. They don't see a way out. So maybe we can shed a little bit of light, at least put a little bit of pressure, traffic and stuff off of social media and the website look pretty good for me. I mean, I think it's pretty substantial traffic, seeing as how I don't put a whole lot out there yet, and people are eager for more. So I've got to, and I hate to be political about it. I'd rather just be myself, but you've got to word it in such a way that people can comprehend it and understand it without dismissing it and forcing people to critically think. So all statements and things that I say, I have to look at and then look at it from a different direction, and then look at it from a different direction, and then hope that nobody takes it the wrong way, and then say post. Because lives have been burnt down because people have said something out of context, or something's been taken out of context, and you got to make sure if you want to do right that you're doing it right. And I loathe the fact that I'm now playing that game. I would rather just be me.
All right, fair enough. I guess the last question is, as far as I'm aware, the North Carolina Forward Party is still petitioning down on the ballot. They have like a little over 5,000 valid signatures and like a few more thousand to go they need to turn in. And I think they need to turn it in by like May if they want to get a chance to get on the ballot for November of this year, because the North Carolina Forward Party is still petitioning right now. They don't have the signatures to do it. And do you think they're going to make it on the ballot? Because I know they have to get like a little over 14,000 to like even get considered by the state board of elections to get on the ballot.
What party was this?
The North Carolina Forward Party.
Well, I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah, it was okay. The Forward Party was actually is a political party that was actually created by Andrew Yang back in a few years back. They overall tend to be a little bit more of a moderate party, though I don't like the fact that they endorse a lot of Dems, but they do endorse quite a number of third parties. I just hate the fact that they endorse a lot of Dems, but it is what it is.
No, Andrew Yang is a Democrat. He created his own party because he got primaried out of so much stuff, and he wanted to be a Democrat. And isn't he like pocketbook flush too? He was already wealthy before he started playing games, and then got a little bit of a platform started, and then kind of fizzled out and his political career didn't go anywhere.
I think he started a business called Venture for America, I believe, and apparently it was underwhelming from what I've heard.
Yeah. I remember that name from a while back, but I don't know. I don't think he had a good go of it. I don't know why he formed his political party, but here I am running third party as well, so I don't know anything about him.
All right, that's fair enough. But with that being said, I don't have any other questions for you. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, we can bash people for a while if you want to.
Sure. Who do you want to bash?
Well, let's bash Speaker Mike Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Have you ever traveled across the state of Louisiana?
I have not.
Okay, you need to take the time and the spare tires to travel across Louisiana sometime. It is a third world country of a state. Um, he is the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and that state has got terrible, terrible interstates and highways. I don't think that they've been resurfaced since the 80s. It feels like you're running over the back of one of their alligators. Um, so, yeah, more power to you, Mike. I can tell that you fly in and out of your state by helicopter because your butt never fills the roads. Let's bash Mike Pence. Isn't that his name, Mike Pence?
Yes.
Yeah, let's bash Mike Pence, the former vice president of the United States, the former governor of Indiana, another state. I judge a state by their roadways because of what I do for a living. And let's bash Mike Pence. Interstate 70. It's easier to get across Indiana by leaving Ohio and going to Cincinnati and then up 74 from Cincinnati to Indianapolis and on up to Chicago than it is to take I-70 across the state of Indiana because he had balanced budgets when he was a governor. It's easy to balance a budget when you never fix the roads, Mike. Let's bash Pete Buttigieg, who was the transportation secretary and was the former mayor of South Bend, Indiana, right?
Yep.
Yeah, South Bend, where Notre Dame's at. He flew in and out of South Bend, Indiana via helicopter because he's never driven a vehicle around South Bend, Indiana. Because being a part of Indiana that Mike Pence was governor of still has terrible roadways. They don't fix their roads. Yay. And he was transportation secretary. He flew helicopter everywhere. He never actually drove anything anywhere. You can also just bash the entire state of New York that has a monopoly on traffic going in and out of New England. The Bridge and Tunnel Authority just tolls everybody. You can't come or go to New England without crossing a bridge and paying a toll in New York or New Jersey to go up and down. So there's Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut up there that are landlocked out of the United States because of New York State. That's 7 states cut off from the rest of the country because of New York. And terrible roads. Then they pay you to go all the way across it on a thruway. And then we don't want to talk about Newsom in California. That's just that's unholy bad out there. So who you want to bash? I'll give you the floor.
Let's bash Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
Oh, well. Okay, let me ask you this. Are you one of the people that think Joe Biden was a stand-in?
Yeah, he's basically just the establishment. The Democrats were shoehorning him so hard.
No, I'm talking about the people that think that he didn't really exist, like the ones that say that he was an actor in a rubber mask or something.
Oh, I get it now. Yeah, yes, he was.
I don't believe it, but there's people out there that believe that. Poor Joe. He didn't know which way it was coming or going. I actually thought that was some people would look upon his presidency and see that as elderly abuse. At the same time, some people could look upon Donald Trump's second term and say that is also elderly abuse. The whole dementia checks and all this, physicals or whatever they go through. Well, Hippocratic laws being what they are, we can't go request a copy of it. We have to believe what we're told. But gosh, I mean, I have my bad days too, but I ain't running the country. So it kind of makes you wonder. And I said earlier in the show that we love electing fossils for some reason. Obama was like the youngest president to be elected since probably Bill Clinton, and see how that went with Clinton. We need to give our elderly a break, so we can find anybody under 60. Let's give that a try for a while, or 50. How about that? Anybody under 50 for president. The dinosaurs need their people back.
All right,
I don't think that either one of them were in their fully sound mind, coming or going.
Fair enough. I guess let's bash two more people before the end of this episode. I want to bash Roy Cooper and I want to bash Phil Berger.
Phil Berger. You're going to have to go run with that one. Roy Cooper. I kind of liked Roy Cooper. I don't like him coming back to run for Senate so much, but I definitely respected him more than Pat McCrory. Pat McCrory built the private road for his buddies from Lake Norman into Central Charlotte via tolls. All that roadway expansion, 2 little lanes for people that use it for work, which is me. If I can pay $30 to get from Central Charlotte to north of the lake on rush hour and then toll lanes in this road tractor, I'd be gone. Like, no, trucks is bad. We can't get our bread at Costco. We don't like trucks, but trucks is bad. No, you can't use our private road. And so yeah, I got a lot more respect for Roy Cooper than Pat McCrory as far as governors go in recent history. And Pat also took all that money from Duke, and we're gonna build new what they want to do, build new nuclear power plants, and then they're gonna keep to make more electricity and then charge us more for it because the power rates never go down. Phil Berger, that's the Supreme Court Justice,
NC Senate. I think the leader of the Republicans in the NC Senate.
Okay, I'm thinking about a different guy. Then you go ahead and you'll have to bash him on your own. I'm thinking of the wrong guy.
Oh, I think the Supreme Court guy might be. I think the Supreme Court guy is actually his son. I'm pretty sure, Phil Berger Jr.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you might be referring to him. Yeah. One of the biggest things that I have a problem with Phil Berger is the same thing I have a problem with Roy Cooper. They both have, in their own separate ways, have attempted to basically screw third parties over. And one of the big things I have complaints about him, and I can apply this to Tim Moore as well, is to a couple of court cases back in 2018, which, by the way, luckily they both lost it. And it was basically 2 lawsuits basically trying to block people from getting on the ballot for basically unconstitutional reasons. I forgot the full story of it, but from what I remember from both of these cases, one of them was involving members who wanted to run in the Constitution Party, and in another case, I believe it was a Republican who wanted to run for a Supreme Court judge race or whatever it is. But apparently there were some technicalities in the rules that basically made it illegal for whatever reason for them to get on the ballot. I forgot fully what it was, but yeah, those cases were what made me not like Phil Berger at all. So I kind of don't trust him. And when it comes to Roy Cooper, one of the things that I don't trust about him is his appointments to the state board of elections. Because of his appointments to the state board of elections, the Green Party had to actually sue, because at the time the governor was in charge of appointing the members of the state board of elections. The Green Party had to sue back in 2022 to get on the ballot, and Justice for All had to sue to get on the ballot back in 2024, and I'm still upset about it to this day.
You got reasons then. Oh, what is your take on the contested election from 2 years ago, where they tried to cancel out the 7,000 votes?
That race with Allison Riggs, that was just a complete and utter grift. Literally a complete waste of time. Just made the Republicans look bad.
I had I know people who were on that list of contested votes, and they were born in North Carolina, lived in North Carolina their entire lives, voted previously, and then all of a sudden their votes are going to get contested because it didn't go the Republican Party's way. Like, no, y'all stirring in the wrong hole here, because that's I know these people. It wouldn't have hit me so hard if it was a list of names I didn't know. But I'm like, I've eaten dinner with these people, some of these people before, and y'all are saying they're not legitimate voters in North Carolina. That's not right. That really didn't sit well with me at all. All right, like it'd be like you and me. Your vote get contested. I now know you. I've met you, on podcast, but you're a real person. Would they take your vote away too? Would they take mine away because they didn't like the way that I voted? Let's not give them any ideas.
So, with that being said, I think I'm going to conclude it for this episode of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. If you all have enjoyed, please hit the like button down below. Type in a comment for any suggestions that you may have. And I will be linking all of Rob's social media in the description below so that you can all check out his sources and you can check him out for yourself. And definitely consider voting for him this upcoming November. And hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that way you can be notified of new episodes of the Political Freedom Fighters podcast. And with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later.
Wait.